That's right, we knew all of this was going to happen. You've heard the rumors, seen the price changes, and maybe even felt the fear in the market. The value of Ripple's XRP has gone up and down many times, but two people in the crypto world have worried about what's happening now. The notoriously vague Pool and the tech-savvy David Schwartz of Ripple have been dropping hints about the future of XRP for a while now. Not just random thoughts or guesses, these warnings were well-thought-out statements based on a deep understanding of the market. Still, a lot of people didn't listen to their advice, and instead focused on short-term changes and hype. Now that we see where XRP is going, it's clear that people who didn't listen to these experts might not see the bigger picture. Mr. Pool has been sharing strange posts for years that seem to tell you when XRP's big moves will happen, like price changes or big market events. A lot of people just think these are random events or puzzles, but the trends are getting too clear to ignore. But David Schwartz, who has been working in crypto and blockchain for a long time, has always stressed how important it is to think about the long term. He has always told people who are investing in XRP not to get distracted by the daily price changes. Instead, he says they should look at the bigger picture, which includes Ripple's continued global growth, its real-world use cases, and its role in changing the financial system. Even with these clear warnings, a lot of traders and buyers have been too focused on making quick money, putting and taking money out of the market based on fear or joy. But as the market goes through corrections and sudden changes, it's clear that Mr. Pool and David Schwartz's advice is more important than ever. The truth is that XRP's real value isn't in its price right now. It's in Ripple's long-term plans for global payments, transactions across borders, and more relationships. People who didn't listen to the experts may soon think back and understand they missed a great chance to start something much bigger. So let's look more closely at the warnings that Mr. Pool and David Schwartz have been giving and why you might be sorry that you didn't listen to them. In the XRP market, it's not just about price, it's also about the future, and the people who understand that future will really do well. We need to learn more about Mr. Pool and David Schwartz and why their warnings were so important in the world of Ripple and XRP before we can fully understand why they were so right. Both have made important predictions that aren't always taken into account. These predictions could have helped buyers avoid some of the mistakes that are now being seen in the market. First, let's talk about Mr. Pool. People don't know much about Mr. Pool, but his mysterious social media posts often seem to predict big changes in the crypto world, especially when it comes to XRP. Many people in the community have been interested in and confused by his posts for a long time. No one knows for sure who Mr. Pool is, but over time, his predictions have come true strangely often. It makes perfect sense now to look back at the information he gave me about time, price changes, and market events. They often hint at what might happen next, but a lot of people ignore them because they aren't clear. But as Ripple's trip goes on, the fact that he kept making the same predictions makes me wonder if they weren't just random. For example, Mr. Pool would often talk about times when the price of XRP would change a lot, sometimes pointing to a quick drop or a big event that would shake up the market. A lot of people reacted emotionally during these times, but his vague clues seemed to show that the market was just doing what he thought it would do. If investors had paid more attention to these small signs, they might not have sold in a panic, which is what happened, and many people missed the XRP rallies. The most important thing to remember is that Mr. Pool's advice wasn't always about trading on short-term price changes. Instead, it was about looking at the bigger picture, which is something that traders often miss when they are feeling emotional. This time, let's talk about David Schwartz, who is the CEO of Ripple. Schwartz is much more direct than Mr. Pool in his words, but his warnings are just as strong. Schwartz has always been a strong supporter of thinking about the long term and keeping an eye on Ripple's main goals. He has always said that XRP's real value is not in its short-term price changes, but in how it changes cross-order payments and the banking system as a whole. Schwartz says that XRP is meant to be a bridge currency that makes foreign payments faster and cheaper. Towards that end, Ripple's technology is growing. Long-term winners will be buyers who keep their eyes on the big picture instead of trying to make quick cash. One of the most important things to remember from Schwartz's advice is to be patient. It's not like other cryptocurrencies that you can buy and sell based on daily price changes. Not short-term gains, but long-term growth and real-world use are what Ripple is focusing on. A lot of investors fell for the promise of quick gains though, and missed the bigger picture that Schwartz was trying to get their attention on. As XRP continues to gain popularity, it becomes more clear how important it is to be patient and think about the long run. It couldn't be more true today that Schwartz warned people not to pay attention to the noise in the market. People who sold all of their XRP in a panic during times of market instability may have missed out on the asset's huge long-term growth potential. XRP is set to become an important part of the global financial system thanks to its partnerships with financial institutions and growing role in projects like central bank digital currencies (CBCs). However, people who couldn't avoid short-term price changes and instead focused on quick wins may later wish they had listened to Schwartz's advice. Mr. Poole and David Schwartz have both always talked about a bigger picture for XRP and Ripple's future. They weren't saying that prices would drop quickly or that buyers should trade every time the market changed. Instead, they stress how important it is to look past the current state of the market and keep your eye on Ripple's long-term plans. If you didn't pay attention to these warnings, now you're starting to see the results as XRP keeps going up and becoming an important part of the global banking system. What does this mean for buyers who didn't pay attention? Is there still hope for them? What can they do to make sure they don't make the same mistakes again? Let's take a closer look at what buyers can do right now to make the most of XRP's long-term potential. We've talked about Mr. Poole's and David Schwartz's advice, so it's time to talk about the most important question. They told investors not to listen to their advice. What should they do now? It's easy to feel bad about missed chances when you look back, but you still have time to make smart choices going forward. This is how you can stop making the same mistakes and start focused on what XRP can do in the long run. To begin, let us talk about being patient. Focusing on Ripple and XRP's long-term goals has always been one of David Schwartz's main points. Instead of responding to short-term changes in prices, if you're a trader who has sold when the price of XRP went down because you were caught up in the price volatility, you should think again about your plan. Cryptocurrency markets are known for being very unstable, but Ripple's long-term value is based on its growing role in the financial environment and its use in the real world. Instead of trying to make quick money, it's important to focus on Ripple's technology and how companies around the world are starting to use it more and more. Realizing that XRP's real value lies in how useful it is,